with DJ Pro AI. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with this amazing app immediately. So whether you've been DJing for years and you want to just switch DJ softwares, like if you've been using Serato for years, Tractor, Virtual DJ, and you want to get into DJing with the iPad with DJ Pro AI, this video is for you. Also, if you've never even DJed before, never touched any type of DJ software before, and you decided to download DJ Pro AI and get started, this video is for you as well. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to exit the app so you can see what it looks like when you first launch the app. So here we go. This is what you get when you first launch the app. And this is DJ Pro AI's classic mode. This is it pays tribute to the old school DJing when you would DJ with 2 records and a mixer. These arms are active. You could fast forward and go backwards in the song. But the first thing that I want to show you guys how to do is load a song. I remember when I first started hanging out with people that DJ'd, and I just wanted to know how to load a song so I could play one song to another. And when I figured it out, then I was able to teach myself. So these music buttons up here, if you see my mouse, I'm using a mouse so you can see where I'm pointing. There's one on the left, one on the right. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's blinking because we don't have anything loaded. So we're going to click on here, and it is going to open up our playlist. Now, if you're first using this app and you didn't make any playlist, this will be empty. So we'll get back to that in a little bit. But if you press this arrow over here, these are our music sources. These are the sources that we can load directly into DJ Pro AI and DJ with immediately. So there is DJ Music. They give you some like sample tracks. So if you don't have any of your own music, you could use these and then practice DJing with that. So if you're just getting into this and you just download the app and you don't want to sign up for any streaming services and you don't have music on the device that you're using, then you could play around with these tracks and practice DJing and it won't cost you any money. Next is going to be music. This is not Apple Music streaming. You cannot use Apple Music streaming or Spotify with this app. That's the biggest question I get asked. There's ways to work around it. You can watch my other videos about that. But for now, you cannot use Spotify. When the app, back in 2013, 2014, they introduced Spotify, and that's what started the whole revolution of DJing with streaming services, but there is no more Spotify. So streaming services that are available on this app are Tidal, SoundCloud, and Beatport, and also BeatSource. So if you don't use any of these streaming services, let's say you use Apple Music or you use Spotify and you have playlists saved on there, there are multiple ways, multiple websites that'll let you transfer your playlist from Spotify or Apple Music into Tidal, and then you'll have that playlist there, and then you could DJ with it. So it's not like you wasted all your time making those playlists. So all of these have free trials for like a month or a couple of weeks. So I suggest that if you didn't already use up your free trial, to sign up for the free trial, so now we can DJ with millions of songs. Now, I tried these all, and my favorite is Tidal. I believe it's the most similar to Spotify. Still not as good, but it's what we got, and it's close enough. So in Tidal, so now you'll see if you go to playlist, if you have pre-made playlist on Tidal, if you use the regular Tidal app to listen to music, your playlist will be here. Also, if you do what I said in before and transfer your playlist, then your playlist will be here. Like this G House 2020 updated weekly. This was a Spotify playlist, and then I transferred it in the Tidal. And then now you could just load it up and start DJing right away with it. And then that's how you're going to get your music. And then once you have your music, and then once you decide what source of music you're going to use, I suggest you immediately start building these playlists, because having playlists will make DJing so much easier and so much more fun. So let me just load up an example track so we see what happens when we load up a track. So now, go here, I clicked on the playlist, and now I'm clicking on this. And if you see on the left here, this tells you what source the music is from. So there's Tidal, there is music from my device over here, and I'm going to load up one of these title tracks. So down here, let's start at the beginning. Down here, this is play and pause. You press it once, it's on. You press it again, it's off. Play and pause. One of the most important buttons in the app. Play and pause. Now, the next one is pretty important as well. This is set. So if you pick a part in the song and press set, and then this arrow button is a cue button. So you set the cue with this button, and then now anytime you press this button, it'll start playing the track from where you wanted it. So this helps you if you don't want to start the track from the beginning, if you want to emphasize like a vocal, or if you just want to have a certain spot in the song saved. That's how to do it. And then this button over here is what makes this app so great. This is Neuro Mix. I'll get more into it after, but simply if you move this slider to the right, it is vocals only. It turns the track into an acapella in real time using artificial intelligence. It's a very advanced feature and it is amazing. So if you want to do mashups and mixes like that, you could just slide it to the right and then there you go. You have an acapella. And then again, if you slide it to the left, you have an instrumental. So you could do mashups, you could do mixes, you could play one song's beats and another song's vocals. The creativity is endless. And it's awesome. And I have more advanced videos. This is just your first day. So simply just slide it to the left for instrumental, slide it to the right for acapella. And then there we go. Now this one, most people don't really use this, but this arm over here, you could actually move. So if you move it all the way to the middle, it'll be the end of the track. If you move it to the middle, it'll be in the middle of the track. So it's like a fast forward button. Same thing as if you just drag this over the waveform. You see the arm move. They made that so it feels like an old school turntable. It's a cool feature, but not really necessary. And then another hidden feature here is this. This is like an on and off button, so when you press it, it'll slowly start the track. And then when you press it again, it'll slowly end the track. This is good for doing transitions with different BPMs, but really no other reason to use it. But it's there, so you know what it does. Now, another really important part of this screen is going to be the BPM. So over here is the BPM slider. You put it up, it'll raise the BPM. You put it down, it'll lower the BPM. You can't mix two songs together and play them at the same time unless the BPM is the same. So let me just get another track loaded up here. So if you're trying to quickly get the songs from one BPM to another and get them to match, you could simply press the sync button once. I'm going to get more into what sync does in a second, but that's how it'll change the BPM, or you could do it manually and try to match the BPMs. Another button that's kind of hidden but pretty important is this little musical button here. What this does is it's the key lock. So if you raise the BPM really high like this, it will raise the pitch of the song. So it'll make, if it's a vocal, it'll make it sound like chipmunks. And then if you bring the BPM all the way down, it'll make it sound kind of like very slow. So what the key lock does is it protects the integrity of the song. So you won't get the Alvin and the Chipmunks sound, or you won't get as much of the deep sound if you're doing big BPM changes. And I suggest keeping this on. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a little music button, and when it's on, it turns blue. Up here, we could change the BPM manually. You could just type in the... I'm not sure if this changes... someone told me that this will change the actual BPM of the song, like if they got it wrong, so just don't pay attention to that one. Tempo, this one's important. You could change the range, so 8%, if you put the BPM all the way up, it'll only go up by 8%, but if you want to do larger BPM transitions, if you're used to doing that on other softwares, you go all the way up to 75 and do huge BPM changes. Alright, so that's BPM. Sync, what it does, it'll match the other BPM, and it will also play the song. It'll match the beats up automatically. So if you want to play two songs at the same time and you don't know how to beat match yet, You could just press sync and they'll play perfectly most of the time. Not always. It depends what type of song. If you're using like a song, like a rock song and stuff like that, the beats might be off. But with EDM songs, rap songs, and stuff like that, it should work 90% of the time. And some people hate the sync button, some people don't. But especially if it's your first day, don't be afraid of the sync button. Over here is loops. You just simply tap this. You got a 2-bar loop. You could go all the way up to 32. And then you can go all the way down to 1 and 32. So if you want to do like a stuttering effect or something like that, or a build up, you could do that. Right here from this screen is loop. Up here is your waveforms. Over here where it says key, you could change the key or you can match the key. If you're doing harmonic mixing, you press match and it will automatically change the key to match the song in the other deck. All right, so that is the right side of, that's the deck 2, and then this is deck 1. It's the same thing. It's mirrored, so I'm not going to get into that. One thing that I did miss was these buttons down here. What they do is they speed it. It'll nudge the track, so it'll temporarily speed up the track or slow down the track. That's good for doing very precise mixes and getting the beats lined up perfectly. If you drop the song in and you're a little bit off, you could simply press the plus or minus to try to match it up. Now, if you're thinking of how do I do the mids, the basses, and the highs, and all the other DJ stuff like effects, it's right here. This button over here, this will bring up the menu. So over here is Neural Mix, like I told you with the button down here. But this one gives you more precise. Instead of just vocals and instrumentals, you could take out the drums, you could take out the harmonics, you could take out the vocals. You could do so much things. You could even change it from drums, harmonics, and vocals to drums, bass, and melodic. And there's so much stuff you could do with Neural Mix. I have separate videos about Neural Mix, so I suggest you guys watch those and practice with Neural Mix because it is the future of DJing, in my opinion. Over here is where you get your hot cues. So this is a temporary cue down here where it says set and then play. But here are your hot cues. So you could set these anywhere. I suggest any song that you're going to use in your playlist, set up a start cue point, an end cue point, and put a cue point in the drop. And the cool thing about these cue points with this app is if you press this button over here, the pencil, you can name them and you could change the color. So now I know any song I load up, the green is going to be where I'm starting, the red is going to be where I'm stopping. You could come up with your own system, but it is extremely helpful to have these cue points. I'm not going to get into the pitch cue. I'm not going to get into the slice. Here is a more advanced control of the loops. You could do a manual loop. You could set it in, set it out, and then you could do the automatic loops like that. Another thing is effects. So you press the effects, and then this is a pad, so you could add like a high pass and a low pass filter to the effects. These are instant effects, so you just press it once and it's an instant effect. But the one that you're going to use the most, or the one that I use the most, is going to be manual. So now you could with this app, you could have 3 effects on at the same time. If you want to change the effect, you just click on it, and then there's all these effects. If you just got the app, I think you have to purchase additional packs, but I purchased them all. And there's so many effects to mess around with. Some are crazy. Some are simple ones that have always been in DJ soft. There's like echo, reverb, flanger. So I suggest loading up songs, putting on the effect, seeing what it sounds like, and go down the list so you know what these are. I'm still learning some of the new ones, but for the most part, the essential ones, I know what they do. And effects really help you be creative and do transitions and DJ. All right, and then another one that's really important is over here. This is lows, mids, and highs, a simple mixer. So you could do beat matching, you could take out the bass, you could take out the highs, and you could do precise mixes. And then this is a high pass and a low pass filter. If you put it all the way up, it'll take out all the bass and add a whooshing sound. So this is what it sounds like. Low pass is the same way, but it takes out the highs instead of the bass. Now, yeah, that's pretty much it for this menu. To get out of it, you press X. So now there's these 3 buttons over here. This one is going to open up a mixer in the middle. So instead of having this open, if you want to see both jog wheels at the same time, you could open this. This is what you're used to seeing on most DJ softwares, volume fader up and down. Over here, these are the gain. So if you've been DJing with other software, if you've been DJing for a while, you are used to adjusting the gain. But this app has a very, very good built-in auto gain. So most people that use this app aren't going to be manually adjusting the gain. So that might be something that you have to get used to, but there's no reason to adjust the gain. All right, and then now to take it a step farther, which is kind of a hidden feature, is if you press EQ, now you still have access to these volume faders, but you get a 3-band EQ. You get drums, harmonics, and vocals if you want it to be Neuro mixed, but if you press this middle button here, you get a regular equalizer. So now you can see both jog wheels, and you can mix with the EQs, and you can control the volume. I think this is the most versatile screen to have on this section of the app, so that's usually what I keep it on. If you like to DJ and see the waveforms up close, just press this middle button. Now you have a very good view of these waveforms, and the colors. All the different colors represent different sounds and frequencies, and the different shapes represent different frequencies. A good rule of thumb is the smaller the waveform is, the less bass, and then the bigger it is, the more bass. So that's how you could tell if there's a drop coming, or if there's going to be bass, or maybe if there's going to be like a breakdown in a slow part of the song. Now over here, you have limited access to the sampler.
Check him out.
So you could choose whatever sampler you want. If you haven't purchased them, you might have to purchase them, but there are a lot. I recommend that you go through these and see the ones that you like, but there's some classic ones like that air horn, laser, spaceship, and stuff like that. And then now if you press this button over here, you'll get the looper. So you can make your own beats and make simple loops just by pressing these. That one kind of sucks, but again, mess around with it. This will take days, weeks, months, whatever it is. Find out which one works for your style of DJing, and then have fun making the loops. You can make some really cool professional sounding loops with this looper. Now, you press this middle button, and there's more to this app. What makes this app different is there's multiple screens. So that was classic mode screen, but this is pro mode. So you could get a bigger view of your library, but if you press over here, you get a bigger view of your mixer. So all the things I showed you in classic mode, when you press this with these Neuro mix and the cues and the effects, you could have that all on the bottom while you could see the waveforms up here. This is the... Let me just get the jog wheels. This is the most advanced screen. It's the most like Serato or Tractor. So you'll have both waveforms here. So you could see the waveforms. You could see the mixer. So like I showed you with the mixer, if you set it to EQ, you could have this mixer here. And then you could have any screen open over here, whether you want the Neuro mix, the Q mix. And you could see the most and do the most at one time in Pro mode. I guess that's why they call it Pro mode. And then up here are jog wheels. And with the recent update, you could see the BPM and you get information in the jog wheels, which is really cool. And then these, you could use them to scratch. These are active jog wheels. So you have jog wheels here. They're much smaller than the one in the classic mode, but still they work great. And you got jog wheels and you could do pretty much everything. The one difference between classic and pro when it comes to the sampler, so instead of having only 2 columns, you get the full access to the whole sampler. So you could either, this is on the looper. So if you want to set a quick loop, just like that, and then samples here, you get every sample that you can. This is all the samples. And then, like I said, you get a bigger view of the library over here. But if you still want the small view of the library, you could press it like this. And then there you go. That's Pro mode. It's pretty similar to Classic mode, except you could see a lot more. You could see a bigger waveforms, and you could have the jog wheels open at the same time. So I suggest you you're going to be using the Pro mode more than the Classic mode. All right, next is going to be the looper. This is the looper that I told you that it's the same. You get as the same amount of pads, but the only difference is if you go over here to the looper, you could control the volume of each individual pads. Next is going to be auto mix. You make a playlist or you load up a playlist and then you set it to auto mix, and it uses artificial intelligence to automatically mix from one song to another. It's not like if you put on crossfader mode in Spotify, or it's not like other apps where it just simply slides the crossfader over. It uses artificial intelligence. It's one of the best auto mixes you could use. I definitely recommend you guys testing it out. Next is one deck mode. I'm not really going to talk too much about this. This is for preparing tracks. You could see the track bigger, and then you could set your cue points. It's for preparing tracks. Four deck mode is the same thing as the other ones, but you could DJ with 4 decks at the same time. If you're used to doing that with Serato and other apps, then you could do it with here, and everything works great. Next is going to be video mode. This is one thing that sets it apart from other apps. You can load videos. Tidal has videos streaming, so you could load up music videos and be mixing with music videos. And I suggest now in 2023 to add music videos into your set, add visualizers, because people get bored easy and they have less attention span. But it's the same thing as Pro mode, except you could see the video up here, either a video or a visualizer, and then there's no way to see the waveforms, and there's no jog wheel. You could still scratch by moving the video over here. And then they also have some audio. They have audio visual effects, echo, strobe. So it'll add some video mixing to it. I have separate videos about video mixing and full tutorials on that. It's not really something that you're going to be doing on your first day. So there you go. You can load up a track. You could use sync. You could do effects. You could do transitions, and you're all set. Let me know in the comments if this helped you guys learn how to DJ with DJ Pro AI. Also, let me know if how you're doing with the app. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. I try to get back to all the questions. And if you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Thank you.